Some of the footage used in this video is not mine. The links to the creators will be in the description. While the Viper may not be the tallest, fastest, or longest coaster, I certainly think the Viper is something very special and extremely underrated. Opening in 1982 and designed by Ron Toomer, this aerodynamics custom looper was the first coaster to have 5 inversions. The Viper stands at 121 feet tall, tops out at 50 miles per hour, has 5 inversions, 3,100 feet of track, and one ride usually takes a little over 2 minutes long. The Viper starts off with a 75-foot drop, gaining 50 miles per hour, and then powers into a vertical loop, giving it some strong positive G's. It then flies into a bit of a turn and rockets into the Batwing with some serious speed and gives some powerful G's. It then exits the Batwing with a bit of speed before going into a very awkwardly banked turn. The train then comes to an almost complete stop at the block brakes. It then slowly gains speed as it crawls into 2 corkscrews, both of which can sometimes give a bit of hang time depending on the weather. Many people say that this part is a little rough with some headbang, but I think they're crazy because this part is glass smooth. It then turns into a bit of a drawn out helix and blinds you with a camera flash right before entering a tunnel. The track then straightens out after exiting the helix as the train crawls on forward into the final brake run before stopping in the station. Overall, I'd say the Viper is a very solid coaster and extremely smooth for what it is. It's probably one of the best aero loopers out there. Rest in peace, Vortex. So, you guys may be wondering why the Viper is my favorite roller coaster. Well, that is because back in 2019, I went to the park on a very cloudy/rainy day with low attendance and was able to snag a ride on a completely empty train. It was the best experience I have gotten on a coaster so far. The whole time I was riding, I could hear that very distinct aero hum as the train went throughout its layout. And since no one else was on the train with me, it ran a lot slower, especially after the mid-course. This meant the corkscrews had a little bit more hang time than normal. Being alone on the Viper is a rare experience, and I'd say is better than riding on a full train even though it's slower. This is because you get to become one with the ride and hear all of the amazing sounds this ride has, like the lift tail or the trim brakes, which they sound amazing. I also like that there's no trim brakes before the Batwing, because then the train rockets through it, going extremely fast, and it provides very strong positive G-force. The entrance to the Batwing, I'd say, is the only rough spot on the coaster, and I'd say it's pretty bearable, unlike spots on other coasters. Comet at Hershey Park. I would also say that the Viper is overall smoother than the Ride of Steel, because that has sadly started to fall to the Intamin rattle. The Ride of Steel's trains vibrate a lot in those long drawn-out helixes, and it just feels uncomfortably weird. The Viper, on the other hand, feels extremely glass smooth throughout almost the entire ride. I still rate the Ride of Steel higher than the Viper, even though it's my favorite coaster, because of how I rate rides. I hope that makes sense to you guys. Hope you enjoyed my thoughts and review on the Viper, and I hope you see why the Viper is my favorite coaster. Just a side note, I'm planning on making a video on Hershey Park where I review all the coasters that were open during quarantine and focus on talking about the main aspects of the rides. And I'm also planning on making a video for the Phoenix and why I think it's one of the craziest wooden coasters out there and give some thoughts on it. Well, hope you enjoyed the video, and don't forget to subscribe and comment down below if you have anything you want to share. See ya!